This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Brent Barnett, and Riley Smith. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. It's April 4th, 2022. This is the premiere episode of Ag Matters PM, or AMPM as we affectionately call it. Coming up in this show, we will have news and information for Iowa's producers and consumers of all of our great agricultural products. In today's premiere episode, Brent Barnett caught up with Kelly Nieuwenhuis of the Iowa Corn Promotion Board at last month's Commodity Classic in New Orleans. They talked about the comments and concerns that Iowa corn producers brought down to the national platform. I had the chance to talk with Iowa 3rd District Congresswoman Cindy Axne and USDA Undersecretary Jenny Moffitt late last month as they announced more support from USDA for meat processors and also technical support in the grant writing process. We have that and also a check of your ag weather forecast, but we kick things off with a check of how the market settled here on Ag Matters PM from the folks at agmarket.net. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Recap here on Ag Matters PM, and for that we're going to call on Robin Schmall today. He's branch manager for Ag Dairy, which is with agmarket.net under John Stewart and Associates. Robin, thanks for joining us on this first episode of Ag Matters PM.
They appreciate you having me on. So lots going on in the market.
Let's go ahead and run down what happened today.
Okay, on the grain side, we did see some significant strength. Export sales or inspections were a little bit lower than last week, but the main thing was China coming in to buy, and they bought quite a bit of corn, and it's been a while since they've been in buying that much. They bought significant amount for old crop, and then about a third of that for new crop as well. That supplied a lot of support to the market. Beans probably were supported because of higher soybean oil, and they have to try to maintain a special kind of a relationship there because acres still could be switched. But I don't know if that's really going to happen, but there is going to be a relationship there that's going to be maintained, even though we did see a lot of sell-off into the last week. Now, so we did see that strength in there, but that spilled over into some lower markets as far as the cattle were concerned. Now, cattle rebounded nicely on the live side because I think they were overdone. Feeder cattle remained under pressure. Hogs were under significant pressure based on the key reversal and leaving an island top in the June contract. And then the inability, well, we did actually see carcass values jump quite a bit today. So that might be something that'll play out in tomorrow's report.
All right. And then going elsewhere into livestock there, how are things looking in the dairy front and in hogs and that as well?
Well, on the dairy side, we did see a lot of pressure coming in today, and that's because of disappointment. Little lower trade in block cheese, dry whey. Now, dry whey price has been falling fairly significant. So we did have a banner week yet last week again on prices rebounding in milk futures. A lot of that was taken away today, especially in class 3, not so much in class 4 because butter was higher on the cash trading today. We did see a little bit of a rebound in butter of a penny, and that moved butter to the 272 a pound with 10 loads traded. So that's a significant amount of butter trading during one trading period. Non-fat dry milk was unchanged, but on the blocks cheese side, we were down 3 1/4 cents. And that was a little bit of a surprise by the trade. So that took futures down quite a bit. Did come back a little, but they're under quite a bit of pressure. Barrels were 1.5 pennies higher, offsetting some of that, but dry whey was down 2 cents again, which takes away some of that pressure. Now, right on the hog side, that was significant. We did see a pretty good decline on Friday in the carcass value with hams being down. That reversed today. We were up over $8 on the carcass at noon. We'll see where it all finishes out here, but hams were up substantially. And that should be supporting price, but it hasn't today, because I think part of that is the reason that we have seen funds liquidating. This is about third day we've seen some liquidation in there. Topped out basically after the friendly hogs and pigs report, which is somewhat usual for the livestock. When they have a bullish report, a lot of times they sell off, or vice versa. Now we are seeing slaughter running so far 6.6% below a year ago, and a lot of that seems to be due to the inability of packers to be able to get the hogs they need. But that wasn't an issue today. It's a longer term issue, something that we need to watch. I think we'll see probably some kind of a rebound tomorrow based on the higher slaughter, or not slaughter, the carcass values today. We don't have the National Direct Afternoon Hog Report out yet to see what cash did. But I think this is a liquidation phase that probably went through and might be running its course soon.
Well, Robin, that's a lot to think about for grain and livestock producers across the board. If they want to get some advice from the folks at agmarket.net, how do they get in touch?
They can give us a call at 844-424-6758.
All right. Well, Robin, we thank you so much for the insight and look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.
That again was Robin Schmall of Ag Dairy on behalf of agmarket.net. Both are part of John Stewart and Associates. Let's go ahead and run down those closing numbers courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. On the Board of Trade, we see July corn is up 17.5 at 7.39 and a quarter. December new crop closed up 11 at 6.99 even. July beans were up 22 and a quarter at 15.89 even. November up 33 cents at 14.39 and three quarters. Soy meal for July up $5 at 447.80 per ton. Soy oil $1.11 higher at 70.61. Chicago wheat up 25 and three quarters at 10.10 even. Minneapolis up 21 cents at 10.86 and a quarter. Kansas wheat up 25 and a half at 10.39 and a quarter. Oats for July down a quarter at 7.11 and a half. On the livestock side, June live cattle 92 cents lower at 134.92. May feeders down 3.65 at 162.47. April lean hogs were down $1.85 at 99.45. Pork cutouts down $1.12 at 106.55. And Class 3 milk was 54 cents lower at 24.01. And that was a check of the ag market recap. Stay tuned. We will be joined by Brent Barnett and Kelly Nieuwenhuis of the Iowa Corn Promotion Board, and we will also run down your ag weather outlook. All of that is coming up after this short message from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Just last month, Brent Barnett and I traveled to Commodity Classic in New Orleans. It was a chance to look at the new innovations in agriculture. Most importantly, though, it was also a chance to talk policy with farmers from around Iowa and around the country. In this report from Brent Barnett, he speaks with Kelly Nieuwenhuis of the Iowa Corn Promotion Board, talking about some of the concerns that were brought down on behalf of Iowa's corn producers.
We're back here at Commodity Classic in New Orleans, chatting again with our friends at Iowa Corn Growers Association. Kelly Nieuwenhuis is with us now. And Kelly, you might just first introduce yourself to the listeners and where you farm in Iowa.
Hey, Brent. Yeah, I'm Kelly Nieuwenhuis. I farm in northwest Iowa in O'Brien County and currently president of the Iowa Corn Promotion Board this year.
So what's some of the work we're seeing from the promotion board from Iowa Corn? What are some goals here for the year?
You know, we keep promoting year-round E15, and in the state of Iowa, we have the Biofuels Access Bill right now that's in the Ways and Means of the Iowa Senate, and we're really working to get that bill passed out of the Ways and Means Committee onto the rest of the Senate floor and get passed for 2022.
Do you feel that ethanol and biofuels in general are gaining popularity, especially here of late as we see rising fuel prices across the country?
Yeah, absolutely. We need energy independence, and biofuels is a great fit for that. Just recently, there was a study that said if we converted 1/3 of the E10 pumps in the nation to E15, we could replace all the Russian imports that we're having right now. So biofuels are here and ready for that call, and we'd be happy to fill that void.
Sure. What are some of the blends that you folks have been focusing on here of late with Promotion Board?
You know, the E15 year-round is our next step, but then I'm also sitting on the National Corn Growers ETHAC Committee as vice chair, and we just had a bill introduced here about 6 months ago by Representative Boutos of Illinois, and it's the Next Generation's Fuels Act, and what that is it's a futuristic bill to get mid-level blends certified and the auto industry to design engines that run on high-octane, low-carbon fuels like E25 or E30.
So back to E15 real quick. When people go to the pump, might talk about how the marketing and the branding of it, because they might see it listed as unleaded 88, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, unleaded 88 is E15, and it's a great fuel for all engines 2001 and newer. And, you know, it saves you about a nickel to 10 cents under E10, and E10 is usually 30 to 40 cents under E0. So there's a huge savings for the U.S. consumers by buying higher blends of biofuels.
I have a flex fuel vehicle myself, so we've been hitting up the E85 of late. It's been a lot cheaper than what you're seeing with some of the petroleum blends. What about E85? Are you seeing a good market for that in Iowa and throughout the country?
Yeah, there's a good market for Iowa, and actually the largest growth demand for E85 is California. Just last year, their E85 sales increased by 20%. And you know, right now, I think in California, they got $6 fuel on the regular blends, and E85's in that $3.39 range. So it's a huge savings for consumers around the country, and we need to promote that more and get more flex fuel vehicles built by the auto industry.
Kelly, it's been nice to meet you here. Any final thoughts you want to pass along before we go?
No, just like Lance had said earlier, Iowa Corn needs membership, and membership numbers matter. The more members, the volume of people that can connect with our legislators is always a big benefit.
Hey, thanks for coming by and talking to us.
Right, thanks, Brett.
Again, that's Kelly Nieuwenhuis here from Iowa Corn at Commodity Classic in New Orleans.
Thanks, Brent. We'll be bringing you more of our exclusive content from Commodity Classic in New Orleans in future episodes of Ag Matters PM in the coming weeks. Make sure to be checking in for more of those policy issues that are going to be addressed this year. Now let's take a look at your ag weather outlook. After a rainy weekend across much of the state, we are seeing the sun start to return over most of the area, with the exception of the extreme eastern parts of the state. However, don't get used to it. Those wet conditions are going to return as early as tomorrow. Let's take a look at what the National Weather Service says is in store for the state of Iowa. Cloud cover, like I said, diminishing west to east throughout the day. We saw that. And temps ranged anywhere from the upper 40s to the upper 50s. Now, tonight across the state, look for it to be partly cloudy across most of the region, except for maybe the extreme eastern parts of the state. Lows will be in that mid to upper 30 range. And then tomorrow, we'll start to see those clouds roll back in, and rain shower activity will increase again throughout the central and eastern part of the state, where the ranges will be anywhere from 40 to 80% chances of rain. There's also a 20 to 30% chance of rain in the western parts of the state, but again, where we could use some more of that rain, the forecasts are not as favorable for that rain shower to fall tomorrow. Of course, that can always change as the updated forecasts become more available. So now let's take a peek at the affiliate forecast screen for tomorrow. Up there in Cherokee area, they are going to see mostly cloudy skies with a slight chance of rain shower activities. Highs around 57. Down in Shenandoah, they're going to see mostly cloudy skies, a few peaks of sun, and about a 20% chance of showers and a high 65. Des Moines looking at that to be about 58 degrees with a better rain chance there, starting out about 30%, then moving to 60. Over in Waterloo, they're going to be 55 with a chance of rain that's going to increase from 20 to 70% throughout the day. Over in Albia, they're going to see 59 degrees and mostly cloudy skies with that 50% chance of showers rolling in. And then over in Clinton, they're going to see about a 40% chance of showers coming up after a partly sunny start and a high of 58 degrees. Well, we certainly hope to see some rain across the state, as most of the areas have soil moistures that are seriously low. For more detailed information about forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliates. And that's been a check of our ag weather outlook. When we come back after this short break, I sit down with Iowa Congresswoman in the 3rd District, Cindy Axne, and USDA Undersecretary Jenny Moffitt. This is Ag Matters PM.
As we approach planting season, make sure you stay safe and share the road with your local farmers. Slow-moving tractors with large planters occupy a lot of space on the road, so stay patient and follow at a distance of around 50 feet. You should never, ever try to pass them at a bridge, intersection, hill, or curve. It's far better than putting yourself or someone else at risk. So please, stay safe and remember to tip your hat to your local farmer this planting season. This message was brought to you by your friends at the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Late last month, I had the chance to visit with Iowa Congresswoman Cindy Axne of the 3rd District and USDA Undersecretary Jenny Moffitt. Secretary Moffitt was in Des Moines at the Iowa Pork Producers Association to make a big announcement about meat processors and the technical support they can get to help them with their efforts. The USDA announced $23.6 million in additional funding for grants will be made available through the Meat and Poultry Inspection Readiness Program. USDA Undersecretary Jenny Moffitt told IARN that the first round saw a positive response and that there was a clamor for more funding to be made available. Moffitt talked about the success of the first round of grants. This included 3 businesses in 3rd District Congresswoman Cindy Axne's district.
So we announced a new round for our Meat and Poultry Inspection Readiness Grant Program. So that is $23 million that we are announcing and releasing today and inviting people to apply. And it is really about supporting producers as they're looking at achieving either the federal grant of inspection or cooperative interstate inspection readiness grant. And so it's what type of equipment or food safety measures that they need to take to be able to achieve that inspection. We did our first round last fall. We released $32 million then and supported over 160 projects around the country, 3 of which are here in the Congresswoman's district. And just really excited about this next round and seeing the innovative projects that come to us for projects.
Axne highlighted the work being done by these small processors and what they've been doing to keep livestock moving through, also keep producers going on their herds, and also to keep the supply chain full and moving along, and also keep employment opportunities available for small rural communities.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And the Undersecretary got to hear from, Afton and Corning and Milo. And I think you saw, I'm from Milo, right? So we know this. It's a very, very small town, limited, folks that live there. And when I say they are producing above and beyond, they are, it's astronomical what we're getting done here. But we need help because we just don't have enough capacity, and we are really reliant on these individual lockers to help us. But that's great. This help is going to be what we need because I'm not kidding when I say we do have the best product here in Iowa, and we like to keep it that way. And that means controlling everything that we're doing and working with lockers that they want to work with, and giving us the capacity to do that will help us to be able to continue to supply for this country. So we're excited about this.
Along with the funding announcement, USDA also announced technical assistance will be made available for companies that are applying for these grants. These grant processes can be a daunting task, and small rural businesses don't have grant writers on their payroll. This will allow them to get assistance to get the ball rolling in the difficult process, and it will give 3 options around the country for producers to link up with. But Moffitt says there's always room to grow that program as time goes on.
So we have the Meat and Poultry Inspection Readiness Grant Program, which we are just announcing today. But back in February, we announced the Meat and Poultry Expansion Program as well. So that's about also expanding capacity, really supporting with the demand that's out there for producers to be able to access new markets through processing capacity as well. So that is $150 million through that program. And in tandem with both programs is the need for technical assistance. As I've traveled around the country now, visiting with some of our previous recipients, I've heard how important it is to have someone support them through the process, help with the grant writing, also help with things like feasibility studies and marketing plans and food safety plans and HACCP plans. All of those different things that make up the application are really, really important. And so these technical assistance providers, so we named 3 today, and I'm certainly looking to add more in the future, but these 3 technical assistance providers are people who producers can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, can you help me? Can you come and look at my site, look at my operation, and start to work with me so I can develop a grant to be able to access these funds?
Of course, it's more than just funding that is keeping up these hassles for small processors. There's also the fact that they need to get employees out the door. There's been a number of reasons why they can't get employees there, and Cindy Axne talked about how things could be changed to make it easier for these employees to get to places that need work.
There's a lot of things we actually can do. First, we need to have immigration reform in this country. I can't tell you how many times I have somebody come in from the ag community into the office in DC, and it's all about what can you do about immigration so that we can get more workers. So we absolutely, need to address that. I look at, though, things like really supporting rural America and keeping people in our towns and not having them leave. And that's why things like the Rural Reinvestment Task Force that I am co-chairing, the support we're trying to build and get to put an office in the White House for just rural development and oversight. All these things play into really having a community where we keep our young people and we have people who want to go there and work. I can tell you, I firmly believe we've got folks from around the country actually who want to come to Iowa and live in our rural communities. They just can't find the jobs. We in some cases don't have the health care that they might need. Housing is a huge issue, childcare. So I think if we work on all those things, what we're going to do is be able to retain more young people in our rural communities, draw more people there who want more relaxed, I would say, lifestyle, away from all the cacophony of a big city, which is Des Moines, right? And we've got a lot of people who want to stay out in rural areas, but also work in Des Moines too. We haven't made a good system for that right now, and we could really be supplying a lot more to our rural communities to build economic support so that we do keep people there. That's what I want to do. I want to look at this holistically. There's no magic button. That's the deal. Immigration reform's one way. Holistically looking at growing rural communities is the other. And then I would say, I did and want to talk to you about this, was hearing, we should use some tax incentives for our farmers and our small producers so that they can do some of the things that need to get done. And I look at that as like tax incentives. It's small business. It's just small business is what it is. So how can we find some other incentives to help them compete? And so I'd like to do more to figure out what we could do to talk about that.
You can learn more by visiting the website at www.usda.gov/meet. For Ag Matters PM, I'm Dustin Huffman. And just like that, we've come to the end of this premiere episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all our content at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Don't forget to check out our free twice daily market podcasts. They're available on Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. On behalf of Brent Barnett and Riley Smith, we thank you for joining us. This has been Ag Matters PM.